The air in the Louisiana Bayou didn't move, it clung. Thick, wet, and alive like something breathing just beneath the surface. You don't hear the silence there. You hear everything else. The insects screaming, the water shifting, the distant creak of wood that hasn't been touched in years, or maybe just touched by something that doesn't want to be seen. And then there was the house. It sat deep in the swamp, far beyond where the road gave up and the land decided humans weren't welcome anymore. No electricity lines, no proper path, just a narrow stretch of mud and roots that twisted like veins leading straight to it. The Thibodeau family had lived there for generations, and in all that time, they had never bought meat, not once. People exaggerate, Daniel muttered, stepping out of the truck. His boots sank slightly into the mud, making a soft, sucking sound. He grimaced. Behind him, Claire hesitated. "You don't think it's weird?" she asked. Daniel shrugged, slinging his camera bag over his shoulder. "It's rural living, hunting, fishing. People do it all the time." Claire didn't move. Her eyes were fixed on the tree line. Something about it felt wrong. Too still, too watchful. "You coming?" Daniel called. She forced herself forward. "Yeah, I'm coming." They had come for a story. A documentary piece. Something raw. Something authentic. That's what Daniel called it. Claire called it a bad idea. But here they were, deep in a place that didn't feel like it wanted them. The house appeared slowly, like it didn't want to be noticed. Old wood, warped and darkened with age. The porch sagged slightly as if tired of holding itself up. Moss hung from the roof edges like something rotting but refusing to fall. No lights, no sound, no sign of life. And yet, Claire felt it immediately. They were being watched. Daniel knocked. The sound echoed strangely. Too hollow, too loud, too alone. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, movement from inside, slow, dragging, a pause, and then the door creaked open. The man who stood there looked wrong, not in an obvious way. Not at first. He was tall, thin, his skin pale, not sickly pale, but stretched pale, like it didn't quite belong to him. His eyes were dark, almost black, and they didn't blink enough. When he smiled, it took too long. "You must be the visitors," he said. His voice was soft, too soft, like it didn't need to try. Daniel stepped forward, hand outstretched. "Daniel Hayes, this is Claire." We spoke on the phone. The man looked at the hand, then at Daniel. Then slowly, very slowly, he reached out and shook it. His grip was cold, not just cool. Cold, like water that hasn't seen sunlight in years. "Welcome," he said. "I'm Elias." Inside, the house smelled. Strange, not rotten. Not exactly, but heavy. Like iron, like damp wood, like something cooked too long, too often. Claire tried not to react. Daniel was already scanning the room, eyes lighting up. "This is perfect," he whispered. "This is exactly the vibe." Claire swallowed. She didn't like the word vibe anymore. There were no modern appliances, no fridge, no microwave, no signs of grocery packaging anywhere. Just old tools, knives, hooks, wooden tables worn smooth from use, and stains, faint, dark, too many to ignore once you noticed them. "You said your family never buys meat?" Daniel asked, already pulling out his camera. Elias nodded. "We don't believe in it." Daniel chuckled lightly. "You don't believe in buying meat?" Elias smiled again. That slow, stretching smile. "We believe in knowing where it comes from." Claire felt something tighten in her chest. "Do you hunt?" she asked. Elias turned to her. For a moment, just a moment, his expression dropped, flat, empty. Then it returned. "Yes," he said, "we hunt." A floorboard creaked upstairs. Claire flinched. "You live here alone?" she asked quickly. Elias tilted his head. No. Another creak. Slower this time. Like weight shifting. Deliberate. My family is here, he added. Dinner was offered before they could ask. Daniel accepted immediately. Claire didn't. But it didn't matter. Elias had already turned toward the kitchen. It would be rude to refuse, he said. The kitchen was worse. Cleaner. Too clean. But the kind of clean that felt forced, like something had been scrubbed away. Repeatedly. On the table, a large wooden board, knife marks etched deep into it, and in the center, fresh meat, red, wet, recently cut. Claire's stomach turned. What is it? She asked. Elias paused, then smiled. Local. Daniel laughed. See? Farm to table. This is gold. He started filming. Claire didn't. She couldn't stop staring at the meat. Something about it. The texture. Didn't look like any animal she recognized. You like it, Elias said, watching her. Too closely. We prepare it traditionally. The cooking process was quiet. No music, no conversation. Just the sound of meat hitting the pan. The sizzle, the smell, God, the smell. Rich, heavy, almost sweet. Claire's stomach twisted again, not from hunger, from instinct. You okay? Daniel whispered. She nodded. She lied. When the plates were served, the portions were generous. Too generous. Elias sat across from them, watching. Not eating. Just watching. Aren't you joining us? Daniel asked. Elias shook his head. I've already eaten. Claire stared at her plate. The meat glistened, juices pooling slightly. She could feel Elias watching her, waiting. Daniel took the first bite, chewed, paused, then his eyes widened. This is incredible, he said. Claire looked at him. You're serious? Yeah, he said. Try it. She didn't want to. Every part of her said don't. But Elias was still watching, so she cut a small piece, lifted it slowly, hesitated. Then she ate it. The taste hit immediately. Rich, tender, unfamiliar. Not like chicken, not like beef, not like pork. Something else. Something. Her throat tightened. What is this? She asked. Elias leaned forward slightly. Do you like it? Claire swallowed. I asked what it is. Silence. Then footsteps behind her. She froze. Slowly, slowly. She turned. A woman stood there, thin, pale, her hair long and tangled. Her eyes, the same dark, endless black as Elias's, and beside her, a child, smiling, too wide. We don't waste, the woman said softly. Claire's heart started pounding. What does that mean? Elias stood, slowly, deliberately. It means, he said, we honor everything we take. Daniel laughed nervously. Okay, you're really committing to the whole mysterious thing. No one else laughed. The child stepped closer, tilting their head, studying Claire. You tasted, didn't you? The child asked. Claire's blood ran cold. Taste what? Daniel said. The child smiled wider. People. Silence slammed into the room. Daniel blinked, then laughed again. Too loud. Okay, all right, that's a joke, right? Elias didn't answer. The woman didn't blink. The child kept smiling. Claire pushed her chair back. Hard. We need to go. Elias moved faster than she expected, blocking the doorway. Still smiling. It's late, he said gently. The Bayou isn't safe at night. Claire's voice shook. I don't care. Elias' smile faded, just slightly. You should, from somewhere deeper in the house. A sound. Dragging, heavy. More footsteps. More than just three. Daniel slowly lowered the camera. Hey, what's going on? No one answered. The child giggled, and that's when Claire noticed the stains on the floor weren't old. Some of them were fresh. Elias stepped closer, his voice softer now, almost kind. You said you wanted a real story. He tilted his head. Now you're part of one. The lights. There were no lights, but somehow the room felt darker, and the door behind them closed on its own. The door didn't slam. It closed slowly, softly, like it had done it 1,000 times before, like it knew exactly how much sound fear needed. Claire didn't breathe. Daniel didn't move. And Elias just stood there, blocking the only exit, his face now empty of warmth, the smile gone like it had never existed. You should sit, he said. No one moved. Behind Claire, the woman stepped closer, too close. The child's fingers brushed against Claire's sleeve light, curious, like testing fabric or skin. Claire jerked away. Don't touch me. The child giggled again. You already touched us. Daniel finally found his voice. Okay, this isn't funny anymore. We're leaving. He stepped forward. Elias didn't move. Daniel hesitated, then tried to push past him. That's when it happened. Elias grabbed his wrist. Fast. Too fast. Faster than something that thin should be able to move. Daniel winced. Hey, what the hell? The grip tightened. Claire heard it. A faint crack. Daniel's expression changed instantly. From irritation to pain. Let go, Claire snapped. Elias leaned in slightly, his voice barely above a whisper. You shouldn't have come here hungry. Daniel tried to pull away, but Elias didn't budge. The woman moved closer behind Claire. You'll spoil it, she said calmly. Elias paused, then slowly released Daniel's wrist. Daniel stumbled back, clutching his arm, breathing hard. What the hell is wrong with you people? He shouted. No one answered. Instead, more footsteps from the hallway, from behind the walls, from upstairs, slow, dragging, approaching. Claire turned, heart hammering. Shadows moved where there shouldn't be space. Doors she hadn't noticed before, now slightly open, watching. They're awake, the child whispered. Claire grabbed Daniel's arm. We're getting out. Now. They rushed toward the door. Elias didn't stop them this time. He just stepped aside and smiled again. That slow, stretching smile. Go ahead, he said. Claire didn't hesitate. She yanked the door open and froze. The bayou outside had changed. It was darker, not just night dark, thick, like the air itself had turned solid. The trees seemed closer, leaning in, the path they had taken to get there. Gone, replaced by endless water and tangled roots. Daniel cursed under his breath. This isn't where we came from. Behind them, the woman spoke. The bayou shifts. Claire turned slowly. What? It protects what belongs to it, she said, and it keeps what's given to it. The child stepped forward. You're already inside. Claire slammed the door shut. Locked or not, she didn't care. This isn't real, Daniel muttered. This isn't real. But his voice didn't believe it. The sounds in the house grew louder, closer, breathing, dragging, something wet hitting wood. Claire backed away from the door. We need to hide. Elias chuckled softly. There's nowhere here that doesn't know you. The first figure emerged from the hallway. Tall, wrong, its limbs too long, bending slightly in places they shouldn't, its skin pale and loose, hanging like it had been stretched and stitched. Its face, if it had one, was barely human anymore. Daniel staggered back. Jesus! Another one appeared behind it, and another. Different shapes, different sizes, all with the same hollow, endless hunger in their movements. Claire's voice broke. What are they? Elias answered simply. Family. The creatures moved slowly at first, cautious, like circling prey they knew couldn't escape. Daniel grabbed a chair, holding it out like a shield. Stay back. One of them tilted its head, then lunged. Fast. Too fast. Daniel swung the chair. It cracked against the creature's shoulder with a sickening sound, but it didn't stop. It didn't even react. It just kept coming. Claire screamed, "Daniel!" He stumbled back as the thing reached for him, and then a gunshot. The sound exploded through the house. The creature jerked, collapsed for a moment. Everything stopped. Even Elias. Claire turned. The woman stood there, holding an old shotgun, smoke curling from the barrel, her expression calm, almost annoyed. "You're tearing them," she said, looking at the fallen creature. Elias sighed. "They're excited." The woman lowered the gun slightly. "Too excited." The child pouted. "I wanted to try first." Claire grabbed Daniel. "Now, move." They ran. Through the hallway, past doors that seemed to breathe, past walls that felt like they shifted when you weren't looking directly at them. Behind them, the creature stirred again. The one that had fallen was moving, bones cracking back into place, skin pulling tight again. Daniel looked back and nearly fell. "It's getting up, Claire. It's getting up. Don't look back." They reached a staircase. Claire took it 2 steps at a time. Daniel followed, gasping. At the top, a narrow hallway. Doors on both sides, all closed, all silent. For now. Claire grabbed the nearest handle. Locked. Next one. Locked. Next, it opened. They rushed inside and slammed it shut. Daniel shoved a dresser against the door, his hands shaking. What the hell is happening? Claire backed into the corner, trying to think, trying to breathe. "They eat people," she said. Daniel shook his head. "No, no, this is something else. This isn't just. They've been doing it for generations," Claire said, her voice steadier now, fear turning into clarity. "They don't buy meat because they don't need to." A thud hit the door. Both of them jumped. Another thud. Slower. Testing. "They're not just eating people," Daniel whispered. Claire looked at him. "They're becoming them." Silence. The idea settled. Heavy. Wrong. Another thud. The dresser shifted slightly. Claire looked around the room. Old bed, broken mirror, and a window. She ran to it, pulled it open. The air outside felt thick, but real enough. "We jump," she said. Daniel looked down. It was a long drop. Into dark water. "We don't have a choice." The door creaked, wood splintering slowly, something pushing from the other side. Daniel swallowed hard. "On 3. Claire nodded. 1. The door cracked. Fingers slipped through. Long, twisted, grasping. 2. The dresser slid an inch. Wood screaming. 3. They jumped. The impact hit hard. Cold water swallowed them instantly. Claire surfaced first, gasping. "Daniel." A second later he came up beside her, coughing. They didn't stop, they swam. Through thick water that clung to them, through roots that snagged at their legs. Behind them, the house loomed, silent again, watching. Then, movement in the water. Claire froze. "Daniel!" Something brushed her leg, slow, curious. Then, another, circling. Daniel's voice trembled. "They're in the water, too." A ripple. Then a shape beneath the surface. Long. Pale. Moving with unnatural smoothness. Claire realized something horrifying. "They don't leave," she whispered. "They spread." The water shifted. More shapes. More movement. Closing in. Daniel grabbed her hand. "We keep moving." They pushed forward. Faster. Desperate. Branches tore at their skin. Mud pulled at their feet. But ahead, faint, distant, a light. Claire pointed. There. They ran, half swimming, half dragging themselves through the swamp. The sounds behind them grew louder. Splashes. Movement. Something gaining. The light grew closer. A small boat. Old, but real. Daniel reached it first, scrambling in, pulling Claire after him. He grabbed the motor cord, pulled. Nothing. Behind them. The water broke, a figure rising, half human, half something else, reaching. "Daniel!" He pulled again. The engine sputtered, once, twice, then roared to life. The boat lurched forward. The creature missed them by inches, falling back into the water with a heavy splash. They didn't stop, didn't look back, just drove through darkness, through fog, until, slowly, the air changed, the thickness lifted, the sounds of the bayou faded, and the world, the real world, returned. Morning came too fast. They reached a road, collapsed beside it, shaking, alive. No one believed them. Of course not. No house, no family, no sign anything had ever been there. Just swamp, endless, empty swamp. Weeks based. Daniel stopped filming, stopped talking about it. Claire tried to forget, tried to convince herself it was something else, anything else, until one night she woke up hungry, not normal hungry, something deeper, something aching. She went to the kitchen, opened the fridge, looked at the meat inside, and felt nothing, no interest, no hunger. Instead, her eyes drifted to her own hand, to the faint scar on her finger, from where she had cut herself weeks ago, at dinner. Without noticing, her stomach tightened. From the hallway, a sound, soft, dragging. Claire froze. And then, a familiar voice, whispering. From the dark, "You tasted it." She turned slowly, heart pounding. The hallway was empty. But the smell, that heavy, iron sweet smell, it was back. And this time it was coming from her. END.